Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Mr. Shipman's class. I am here not only with the lovely and beautiful Prudence Williams Shipman, she is my wife.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, everyone. I know it's been a long time since we've made a podcast, but look, we are here today and fired up. I can't wait to start this topic. Miss Shipman.
Well, today, honey, love, sweetheart, we are talking about something that we both experienced. We went through COVID teaching online. We made it.
Yes,
and
we did.
Then, out of nowhere, with very little notice to either one of us, we were called back into the school, into the classroom to teach this wonderful thing called hybrid teaching. So today our topic is re-entering the building, hybrid teaching and learning. Lord have mercy. That's how it's going to be started.
It is quite challenging, to say the least.
So I've been back for a whole 6 weeks and you've been back for
2 weeks. But 1 week with students.
So I guess I've been back 8 weeks, 2 weeks without students and 6 weeks with kids. And you've been back
3 weeks.
2 weeks with kids and 1 week. No, 2 weeks without kids.
2 weeks without kids. 2 weeks without students and 1 week with them.
So can we both agree those 2 weeks we spent without kids, they were pretty easy?
Yeah, it was. It was just, I think the only tension that you have is you still trying to make sure all the adults in the building do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, the adults have proven to be interesting. Yeah, we went through the same thing. We had adults in our building who don't necessarily take the virus seriously and would come in your room without mask and would approach you without mask. And, you just kind of had to have that firmness about yourself and say, hey, I need you to put your mask on.
Yep, you do. Or one of the great things that I do, I keep my door locked, and you have to knock on my door. And even if it's an administrator, they will, I can hear them unlocking the door, so it gives me time enough to put my mask on before someone enters.
I give my administrators 100% credit and applause. They have been very good at affirming and maintaining safety, social distancing, and mask wearing, and hand washing. And we have sanitation, hand sanitizer stands at the end of every hall. So they have really tried very hard to keep us safe. I have probably struggled more with my teacher coworkers than anything else.
Well, I give my school system a great amount of credit. They've pretty much gone through all the proper protocols of making sure before you enter the building that you're safe. And once you enter the building, there are several stations all over the place. So, and I love it that my classroom has a sink. That
Mine too.
Works out
wow,
fantastic.
It's a great thing.
Yes.
So, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of hybrid teaching. And it's really not about safety as much as it is truly the teaching. So let's start with the good. I walked back into my classroom, and that first day that the kids came back, it really felt like the first day of school, like September or August, The kids came in, they were bright-eyed, and it was so good to finally see the kids who I'd been working with since August of this year, to see them face to face. Now, honestly, I work in a school that has about 1,500 enrolled students. We probably have 200 to 300 in the building day to day. So my largest class is 6 kids. That was disappointing, but it was still good to see those 6 kids. They were nothing like what I thought. I told you earlier, it was like online dating. You've had this relationship with this person and you talked to them online for months and months, and you finally decide we're going to meet. They didn't look anything like I expected them to look. They were shorter or taller. They just were nothing like what I had gauged online. And I don't think I was like what they thought either.
Yeah, well, mine definitely told me that. They was like, Dr. Shipman, you're tall. They were like, we thought you were short. I had the first day 6 students, and the second day 2. Um, it's strange because when they come in, you don't quite recognize them. They have to pull their mask down just so you can make full facial recognition.
Yeah,
But
other
it's
thing.
yeah, it has been. It's been like the first day of school. It really has, and I think I prepared that way of trying to treat them that way. Um, it's really would I say it's good to have them? Yes, but under the circumstances, you're like you still it's just so much caution.
Yeah.
But it is good to see uh, your students halfway there.
The other good for me, and I know you're new in your building, but I've been working in my building. I think this is my 7th year or 6th year. And it was really, really good to see my coworkers. We have met online almost daily during this whole corona, COVID virus, pandemic, quarantine thing. We have met online and we've talked and we've enjoyed each other and had a good time. And I've worked with some of my coworkers upward to 20 years or more. And some 5 years, some 10 years, but it was good to see everybody. There was a lot of worry and concern in my actual building. We have lost one person to the virus. Our resource officer passed away due to the virus, and it was very sad. But we've had several teachers contract the virus and get sick, but it was very good to see everybody's face. It gave you a sense of normalcy. Mm-hmm. I won't say safety. We've had to, love each other from a distance, but it was good. So that's the good. That has been the good.
Yeah.
Seeing the kids, seeing the coworkers, being back in the building. Actually, for me, I've told my students this. I even tell my parents, I'm much better at school teacher than I'm at home teacher. I'm a science teacher. I teach 8th grade science. And my stuff is at school, and I was able to do some of my more spontaneous demonstrations. There are no labs now, but I can stand up with the camera on me and show kids a lot of other stuff, and it's been good to get back into that role. I think I've been able to spur more excitement in my kids being back in school, so that's my good.
Yeah, well, good for me was this was, I think, only the 3rd time I stepped foot in my building. So to go in a brand new building, see coworkers and people that they looking at you like, who are you? And finally, even though they see you on the screen, they finally get to see you. Like, again, everybody, I guess my camera online presence is small, even though it is huge, because I'm a big voice online. But to finally see me and they get to say, okay, you're Dr. Shipman. And I'm the only new employee in the building. So,
You know that.
yeah, I'm the only new one in the building. And then I had to try to, it was funny because this week, the old teacher's name was still on the door. And I knew the kids were coming. So I just took an index card and wrote my name on it. And the assistant principal was trying to put the new label up. I think she's still working on it. But they were trying to put up my new name. I was like, well, it's not her room, it's more it's mine. But to go in last week, decorate a room, get it all ready for the students on the first day, it's been exciting. It has.
It really has. I will say that's been great. So on to the bad. Let me tell you this. When you got ready to start, I had been doing it for about 6 weeks. And I said, don't worry about all that. You had so many concerns. I had the same. You were like, well, the kids staying seated, cleaning up. I said, actually, that all just kind of falls into place. I said, even I think with 5th graders, they'll understand that we got to wash our hands. We got to clean our desks. And I told you, don't worry. I said, let me tell you what you're going to struggle with. You forget your kids online. Boy, oh boy, that has been my bad.
That is a really big challenge.
So the little people walk in and they see what you got going on the screen, and they say, "Oh, we're doing that today. We've been studying light and waves. Oh, we're studying rainbows. I saw a rainbow today." And so went the conversation. We're 2 seconds in the classroom, and a kid said, "I saw a rainbow. It rained this weekend, and it was a rainbow. We're going to learn how that happens." Yeah, we're going to learn how that happens. Before I knew it, I was teaching those 5 kids in my class. I mean, teaching my life away. I'm showing them stuff. I'm pulling up stuff online, putting it in the screen. And then I look at my little messenger box. Miss Shipman, can you let us in? I had talked 10 minutes and forgot to let the kids at home in online. It has been a struggle. Unfortunately, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and the squeaky wheel, because kids online are notoriously quiet. But the kids right there in front of you, they chatter. They ask questions. They want to see it. They want to talk about it. They want to tell you everything. That human connection.
Yeah.
And again, like dating online, once you find one you like, you forget about the 20 online.
Yeah. And it gets hard, very hard to stay focused, because you're teaching, and a kid in class can ask a question. You look over at them,
Yes.
and you go to talk to them, or somebody comes in your room.
Yes.
Somebody will knock on the door just to bring you some papers, or the assistant principal came in earlier this week. She was like, "I need you to stop for a minute, mute the kids online." But you have to mute them, go black, but the kids in front of you still there, and you're talking to her. It's like, that is like the most challenging part.
I remember at school we worked together at a previous school, and one of the things they used to say, the 3 R's: rigor, relationships, and relevancy. I have found that all 3, being more rigorous, with your face-to-face kids is easier. I think sometimes the online kids think you're picking at them. When you make it a little rigorous, you try to challenge them, push them beyond. They get a little just like, you can't give them that look of, you can do it, that eye-to-eye contact. I think relevance, it's easier for me to talk about waves and for me to point to things right there in the classroom and make it relevant. And relationships, it's hard building a substantial and meaningful relationship with a child you've never met who is online.
Well, I have to give myself credit.
I will too. I heard you.
I think that is one of my strong suits, that I have built very strong relationships with these students online. And so the transition of them coming to the classroom is like, oh, we already know you. You just tall. We didn't think you were. But we worked real hard at, I worked real hard at making sure I got to know my students. I sent them books over the time that we've been out. I've communicated with the parents. We've had contests where students won money, and I sent them money. So that was like one of my main focus, was to make sure I had that relationship. Now, the bad part now, that the kids who come in class, they're all day, and it's killing them. Like, I can't take a break. I miss Dr. Shipman, and when I was at home, I can just cut you off. But now I can't cut you off because you're sitting right there, Dr. Shipman.
Yeah, I have a lot of problem with kids. You can tell that they have not been on a firm school schedule for a year. Because I have kids who, like, in front of me will just push the computer to the side, lay their head down, and take a nap. And I'm like, hey, are you really asleep? Like, right here in my face? And they were like, oh, this is what I do at home. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not at home anymore. I'm going to need you to sit up. I'm going to need you to focus. I'm going to need you to pay attention.
Yeah, I was a little lenient on that this week because I knew.
Oh, you got the itty bitties too.
My students I'm getting at work at 6:55, which is, been a big adjustment on this end because I like to work out in the morning, and my dog like to get me up also. So I'm getting up at 4:30 preparing to go to work. And once I get there, I have students coming in between 7:05 and 7:15. So they had to get used to it because they didn't have to be online. They could just wake up because the computer don't get online at 7:45. But now they're getting up pretty much 6-something, getting on the school bus, coming to school. So I had a few students to put their head down this week, and I was like, it's okay. You can go ahead and put your head down because I know you have to be tired.
Well, my second bad is literally you had to be there. It has been something that I don't struggle with it, but it kind of saddens me for the kids who are at home. The lessons. The lesson that you would make for an online student is not necessarily the lesson you make for a present student. And sometimes the powerfulness, the intent of the lesson is lost along the bandwidth. And it becomes one of those, okay, I'm sorry y'all didn't see this, but it was really good. And even when you turn your camera on to yourself and you're showing and demonstrating, it's just not the same. It's a bad part of online hybrid teaching. You just have to be there sometimes, and they get it, but not to the intent and the depth that the kids who are not there get it.
I agree. I think it's harder, again, the kids that are in school, they have to pay attention to me more, and they have to do the work. It's like, oh, I'm here. I have to do the work. Whereas my lessons have been the same, and I'm still teaching almost to the computer. But before, when they couldn't get away with not turning something in, when you're in school, you pretty much have to do it. You have to stay on point.
And that's my third bad in the good, bad, and the ugly. The online students, their grades I found that in face-to-face students, their grades are coming up. I'm watching them. I'm watching them pick up the habits, get the content that I need them to get, build the habits because like you, we're transitional years. Your kids are getting ready to come to middle school. My kids are getting ready to go to high school. There is more than content that needs to be taught. We have to kind of prepare them for the maturity jump that transition is going to take. And I'm finding that the bad part is my present students, my physical students, are getting it. My online students, not so much. I'm having to show them 3-4 times. I do have a group of kids that are very eager to be good students, and they're starting to see the uptick in the requirements, the expectation, and they're jumping on. But I have a lot of online kids who are just kind of, why is it changing? Why is it getting harder? Because I'm trying to get you ready. If we were in the school year, there's a natural progressions that teachers understand. Mm-hmm. You start out teaching 4th grade at the end of the year, right?
Right.
You end up teaching 6th grade at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And 5th grade is that anchor in the middle. But you're always, I got to get you ready for that next step. I cannot let you stagnate here. It's easier to do when they're face-to-face.
Much easier, much easier.
All right. So we've done the good.
We've done the good.
We've done the bad.
We have done Mr. Bad.
And now the ugly. The ugly is the virus, because the whispers about the plague, the fallen soldiers. So you said to me, we're in the state of Georgia. And in the state of Georgia, every school system chose when they came back and how they came back. Correct. And there were school systems where we had friends who went back at way earlier, some of them at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And they told us, you go to work and they'll be like, Miss So-and-so is not here. They're cleaning her room. And that became the whispers about the plague. Mm-hmm. The class students weren't allowed in the room. The teacher wasn't to be found, or
they had to. They found out someone was in contact with someone. One of my former coworkers at another school system told me they had to get the whole class and take them to the media center.
Just and then relocate them?
Relocate them and go in and clean the room. It's been so much going on that people are telling me how this has changed the face of teaching.
And the thing is, you got some laws, you got some HIPAA laws, you got some privacy laws, you got some other kind of laws that I don't even know about, I don't even understand, that the school systems have to follow. So your coworker, for me, since we've been back, I've had a couple hospitalized. And they're hospitalized, and you make assumptions, and you don't know. And you have kids whose parents will say, I got an email on Friday. Hey, we were out. We're just coming back. This was our first week back from spring break. Hey, we were out of state. Don't want to send them back. I'm going to quarantine them. It's very scary. It's one of the ugliest things. You don't know why people are out. And when they're out for I've had a coworker out for 3 weeks now, hospitalized.
Yeah, or I think just the step-by-step, like you're teaching online, and all of a sudden students will get up out their seat, and you have to be like, hey, wait a minute. It's like now you're so cautious. You're like, I need you to go all the way around the class. Well, it's right there where I can't cut through. No.
Right. You can't be, you don't need that kill social distancing when you're cutting across the room when you get up. oh, put your mask over your nose. The ugly.
God. Let me tell you. Now, elementary. Okay, all the kids came to school with masks, but some of the kids are wearing adult masks. So it's hard for them to keep their mask over their nose. So I gave them one. I had extra spare masks in my classroom that were supposedly children masks, but the kids know how to do it. They double loop on the ear and it's hold it up, but still, I have one student. It kept falling below his mouth, and he went to sneezing. You go outside and blow your nose, and it's. Then he went. The mask came down. He went to chewing on his mask. I was like, elementary kids.
They're babies. They really don't quite understand what's going on in a lot of ways, and I don't think it's that they're not taking it seriously. They just don't recognize how serious it is.
And it's hard for them. So I have to order some kids masks, and hopefully they'll be in soon, because I was like, no matter what, the number one priority for everyone, the students, me, and the whole school, is the safety.
Healthy and safe.
Yeah, and it's strange because you said that the part of the ugly is parents can't come in the building.
Nope.
And it was one of the things that we kept talking about at the beginning in preparation, get ready for this, was how kindergarten students kindergarten and preschool, who may have never been to school, those parents literally had to drop their kids off without going in. And I know, being a former kindergarten teacher and parent, that is like one of the biggest days ever. But you can't go in the building. You had to stay. And they asked the parents, like, if a child started crying, they asked the parent to stay back for a few, just in case they had to bring them back out to calm them down. But that's been one of the major security concerns of all schools, that parents are not allowed on the hallways.
It's so serious that in our building, kids will leave their computers at home. And just to reduce the amount of population going through the building, they won't even let them. We're like, hey, that day your kid just don't have their own computer. They got to use one of these spares. If there is no spare, they're going to just have to sit there and listen. It's serious, trying to keep the population low. And I know parents don't quite understand it. We've had a lot of offended parents. But if you kind of think about it, in a given day, if you're at the office, in the school's office, the traffic is nonstop and heavy.
You can have anywhere minimum 20 people. Minimum.
And we're talking about on a with the school system is down 1/4, like we are now. 20 people and max 100 people. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. Because I had a student who left his cell phone Wednesday. And he just can't come get it.
All right.
He can't get it
till the next day.
Right, he won't be able to get it till tomorrow. And that's tomorrow's, just in case the radio good people don't know, podcast is Monday.
Yes.
So he left it last Wednesday, and then his mom just won't be able to come get it. It will have to stay in my classroom until then. It's just, we cannot take any chances. We even had this routine in my class. One person open the door, and I assigned one person. That person can get out their seat, open the door. As soon as they finish opening the door, they had to put on hand sanitizer. We're practicing safety no matter what. And I think the students who came in, they got it. They realized that Dr. Shipman really wants us to be safe.
Mm-hmm. And my last ugly has to do with the vaccination and just teachers. So my first week before I got the vaccine, and me and my husband are fully vaccinated. High five, hubby. We did it. We're still in our last 14-day window, but we did both doses of the vaccine. But during the first week back in school, the seasons were changing, and I had the worst allergy cold. And all I knew that staying in a mask 8 hours a day was going to be a challenge. Mm-hmm. But my respect to doctors and nurses everywhere. I respected you before, but now that I have spent, oh my goodness, 8 weeks in a mask, 8 hours a day, I promise you, I get in my car and my face literally is stinging from the mask. But when I had that head cold, I thought to myself, okay, this is different. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I went through probably 6 masks a day, disposable under my permanent one. And I was like, oh, goodness, this is rough. And then my husband knows this, had a pretty good reaction to the vaccine.
Right.
And I was in a mask that day too. I didn't realize I was having a reaction until it gotten really bad and I had to leave work. But other than that, that was what uglies. The ugly is that mask all day. But I will keep it on. I will encourage everybody out there listening, keep it on. We got to get through this. We got to be strong for each other. We got to be safe for each other. We got to do it the right way so that we can get back to the place we want to be.
Well, I built in my class schedule because I had to come up with a new class schedule. And the students online have adapted also. We have like a 20-minute mass break where we go outside and we separate. It was funny because one little girl, she went almost 20 yards away from everybody. She was like, I don't care if we outside or not. I'm standing over here.
Good for her.
But we just needed a break because I know with smaller students,
yeah,
and they haven't been in school, it's just like athletics. I guess I've been around sports and coaching all my life. I kind of know you have to get in shape physically and mentally. So I knew to build that in, that safety feature in. And we went outside and we just breathed fresh air. And it feels good to me because I finally get to drink my coffee. But it's also time just to get to know the students, and you're screaming at each other from a distance. But it's okay. We all safe, and it's great to go outside.
Well, we don't have mass breaks at the middle school in my particular district. We have a history of school violence, and our administrators at the very highest levels have decided to let's err on no. So right now, our kids are being troopers. I give them 100% credit. I don't think we've had any student who has gotten disciplinary action in my building for refusing to keep their mask on or correcting when we tell them. And that is beautiful. I think that's beautiful. I give them much due respect and honor for that because they're troopers. They're sticking in there with us. They'll stay on the right side of the hall. They socially distance. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I have 2 sinks in my room, and at the end of every class period, I say, go wash your hands, and they jump up happily and wash their hands. And it's just one of those things. No complaints, and I'm loving them for it. I'm really proud of them. So, husband, Dr. Shipman.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we wrapped it up. The good, bad, and ugly of hybrid teaching. And hopefully everybody's enjoyed hearing us. Please, we'd love to hear your remarks and your comments.
And share.
Yes.
Like and share.
Yes.
We need you to subscribe to Shipman and Shipman. Actually, we hadn't done one in so long, but our ratings and from our past shows have been tremendous. We're getting listened to more almost now that we hadn't put shows out than before.
Well, we'll keep on putting them out, though, still.
We're going to keep coming at you. We will. We always like to close out and say, hey, my wife has a brand new book coming out called Ruby Smiles.
Yes, I do.
And it's already out on Amazon and all our other big markets. But check her out if you like. And
that's Prudence Williams, and the book is Ruby Smiles.
All right. I always like to close on that saying, I am special, I am smart, I am somebody. We'll see you next time at Mr. Shipman's class.
Bye.